Unsurprisingly, it's a mirror of Eldrazi between the two players. As we go ahead and bring you into the match, it's a very simple board state. So why don't you run it down for us, Ryan?
Yeah, so both players control approximately 700 lands and 30-some creatures. Players making it easy to keep track of their life totals. A nice clean 1 for Tragos and a 3 for Koepke.
Is that 129 Scions? This is the number of Scions in play. This is not a joke. Devin Koepke has 129 Scions. He's up 7 on Peter Tragos, who only has 122.
So I actually, I was considerably under on my estimate of creatures. I apologize for not accurately representing the board state.
Their life totals are at 1 and 3, though. This is very relevant.
I mean, Koepke just has to have 1 more creature, right?
I think so.
There's just Displacer Drowner, so you have to do some mana on that.
I mean, at some point, Peter can... Oh, goodness. This... Koepke could, I suppose, if he can't get damage through, eventually he could displace... This is horrible. I don't even know what's going on. All right. Up to 132 Scions for Peter.
Players are not messing around with such trivial things as the stack.
Or tapping their mana.
I have 10 more Scions now.
Right.
My turn.
So how this is happening is on end step, Peter has 15 mana. He's using that to activate Eldrazi Displacer 5 times, targeting his own Drowner of Hope. So each time he targets it, Drowner leaves play, enters the battlefield again, and makes 2 more Scions. So Peter with 15 mana gets to make 10 Scions a turn. Looking at an activation here, I think we'll see how many Devin's making. Getting up an activation seems to be very important, especially with these life totals.
Yeah, Tragos looked like he cast a Worship on that last turn. Both players probably have Worship somewhere in this mess. That's probably why this game isn't over.
Sure. Now, if both players have Worship, at what point do you start... If you blink your own Thought-Knot Seer over and over, you can make your opponent draw cards.
I was about to say I'm definitely not activating Ayavugan, if that's what you're getting at, but yes.
But if that's true, I want to just make you draw cards, and then I'll start trying... I mean, I might draw you into a Disenchant. That's no good.
Yeah, that's the real problem. They'll have access to mana. They'll be able to draw it and cast it as soon as it shows up before you're able to Thought-Knot it away.
Devin playing his 4th Thought-Knot Seer.
I mean, if Tragos is just shortcutting and tapping all of his mana at the same time, then Devin could just force him to draw, and if he has a Disenchant, it won't matter.
It's just a gem of a game. Peter Tragos has pulled ahead on Scion tokens. So Peter's at 1. He has a Worship in play. Of note, I don't believe Devin does have a Worship in play.
Yeah, he doesn't need one. He's a nice healthy 3.
Well, that's true. Then Peter being up 20 Scions seems like it, yeah, will matter, and will send this to a game 3.
Hopefully it doesn't look anything like that.
So I will actually say, normally I thought this Eldrazi deck was kind of straightforward, kind of dumb, kind of unexciting, really powerful. After watching that game, I'm way more likely to play it.
That's what makes you want to play this deck?
I like big swingy effects. And when I see someone winning with 149 creatures in play, now, all right, I could get down. I could be interested in that.
I put myself on conceding that game when I'm winning. I had no idea what was happening.
So Devin Koepke at 9-0 with Blue-White Eldrazi, the lone undefeated player on day 2. See him here, part of Team Lotus. You see from Oakville, Illinois, he has 2 Open Series top 8s, somewhat newer to the SCG Tour, trying to get his first Open Series win at 9-0. It's looking like he may get that this weekend.
Yeah, he's off to a great start.
Apparently he's great at arm wrestling.
Well, it doesn't say that he's great. It says he will take all comers, whether or not
so there's no results guaranteed in that.
He just enjoys the sport.
Okay. So
win, lose, or draw. Let's arm wrestle. That's how he passes the time. He didn't have internet until he was 21 years old.
That's unbelievable.
Well, he's spending all his time arm wrestling. He didn't need it.
You can't arm wrestle and use the internet at the same time.
Right, you need hands for the internet. Also, if you have the internet, you're probably less interested in things like arm wrestling.
I will say, at some point in the last year, I found myself at a hotel channel surfing and started watching competitive arm wrestling. And I was hooked in for about like 15 minutes before I said, what am I doing? And then went to sleep.
I'll actually watch high level anything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Of the high-level sports watch, arm wrestling is a real great one, though. You know, their players, they're very animated. I liked that part.
It would be incorrect to say that I follow the Olympics, but when the Olympics is on, I watch the whatever is on. Any sport that's happening, I really enjoy Olympic trampolining. They jump super high. I don't know what's going on, but it looks impressive.
Does knowing or not knowing the rules change the enjoyment?
I feel like for a lot of sports, knowing the rules would make it worse. The biathlon, for example, I just assume it's no structure and people are just skiing and shooting guns.
Yeah, they ski on time. Then they sit down and they start shooting at targets for a while.
Yeah, if you tried to tell me that there were rules, I would enjoy that less.
I made a game of trying to watch cricket the first time without knowing the rules and trying to learn them just by context. And at some point, it seemed like it was clearly a baseball or street ball derivative. And that was fine. And then I tried to figure out the scoring system, and then people's scores had hyphens and then overs in them, and I didn't figure that part out.
Something that's really taken off in Minnesota, surprise, we like ice sports, is curling.
Yes, yep.
And when I watch
that's just giant shuffleboard.
Exactly, it's human shuffleboard. I don't understand how this is an Olympic sport.
I like it where there's the synchronized skating right in front of the shuffle puck, and then you're just furiously sweeping the ice.
I don't understand how you end up being one of those sweepers. That just seems miserable. How do you talk somebody into doing that for you?
It's like, hey Ryan, I got this curling team. I need a sweeper. You wanna join?
No, your pitch is okay. I play this sport. It's pretty much human shuffleboard. I'm going to be playing shuffleboard.
I love shuffleboard.
Well, shuffleboard's not an interesting game to watch. It's fun to play. I'm telling you that I am going to be playing shuffleboard. You're going to hang out and sweep ice for me. What do I have to pay you to do that?
We get to hang out. You
could hang out while sitting down for free.
All right, there are 3 minutes left in the round, so both players keeping on 6. We're underway. Ayabugan, Eldrazi Mimic for Koepke. For note, their first game took 2 minutes. So all the time was spent on that nice 129 Scion game. For Koepke, it'll be an Eldrazi Sky Spawner that can make Eldrazi Mimic into a 2-1, and then he'll swing.
And the Scion token can make it into a 1-1 as well. So
Don't think he's going to do that one, though.
You have options.
Back to Tragos. It is the 4-mana start and the 4-mana payoff. Thought Not Seer on turn 2. This is one of the more things we see here. It is Worship, Reality Smasher, Path to Exile. A decision point for Peter. Does he want to play for the win or the draw here? Is it just right off the bat? He'll go for the win. He'll take the Worship.
Yeah, I definitely favor going for the win here. You know that Koepke's at least a mana off of casting the Smasher.
Draw for Devin. And now he goes back and thinks.
It's also just a high chance of this game drawing naturally, even if you play for the win. There's not a lot of time left.
Devin's going to Path to Exile the Thought Not Seer. I believe he actually had the Cavern of Souls, so he could have just made Reality Smasher. But instead he'll Path. He'll get a land. It looks like another Cavern. So he'll play Cavern of Souls, swing for 5, and Peter's down to 13.
So the potential upside of pathing there is if Devin draws Eldrazi Temple exactly, he can do both things.
So then he just gets to win across the board.
Right. So that's probably a consideration there.
Peter getting a Plains off that Path to Exile goes down to 13. Devin just wanting to be ahead in the race. And barring the 100 Scion board states, I could see this game, this fact that the clock's on the minute 30 doesn't seem all that relevant.
I'm convinced that we will see fewer than 100 Scions in this game.
Over under 99.5 Scions.
I'll take the under.
All right.
I'm confident.
Thought Not Seer from Tragos. He sees a Reality Smasher and Cavern of Souls. That'll take care of the Smasher. And now the tides have turned. Peter is the one with the creatures in play. He has the larger size. It's Eldrazi Sky Spawners. We go back to Koepke.
That second Seer kind of punished Koepke for not just casting the Reality Smasher. I would rather have that in play than Path to Exile and a random card on the 4/4.
Cavern of Souls from Koepke. He needs to tap deck an Eldrazi. A Drowner of Hope would be enough to steal the game for him.
Yeah, we'd get up to 4 Scions in play.
But how about Drowner of Hope on Tragos' side? That's what he's going to have. We've heard so much about how this card is a trump in the mirror. Maybe we'll see it at Act doing just that.
Koepke definitely has some ground to make up at this point. He's ahead on the life totals, but very behind on board at this stage.
Tragos has to be cognizant of the clock here. We'll confirm that that's the right one, that they have this much time left. Cleaning up the Scions here. So 3 Scions in play for Tragos, 1 for Koepke. A second Drowner of Hope appears to be in Tragos' hand, and now he's going to go aggressive. Path to Exile on the Sky Spawner.
Yeah, this means that the Tragos' Sky Spawner is just a clean attack here. It also means that Koepke doesn't have enough power to actually put 4 power in front of the Thought-Knot Seer.
Like the line from Tragos, it's very aggressive. He's playing the role that he needs to play to win.
Yeah.
And a swing puts Koepke down to 12 as we go back to Devin.
Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of sequence of events that would make it kind of foolish for Tragos had he tried to play for a draw. This game is threatening to just draw naturally just the way that the hands are lining up, and he actually has a chance to win.
Devin was turn 0, so turn 1 will be for Peter Tragos, and he may just be able to win it on the spot. Casts a second Drowner of Hope, makes 2 Scions, taps out Koepke's team, swings for 12, and Peter Tragos takes game 3, hands Devin Koepke his first loss of the tournament, and moves to 9-1.
I think that Tragos' play in that game was exceptional. Like we were just discussing, he had the option, play for the draw, play for the win. The win matters a lot more. You know, Koepke's 9-0, Tragos is 8-1, so he has ground to make up against at least specifically Devin Koepke. There's going to be a couple other 9-1s here, so this gets him the best position in the field.